How are you doing, sir?
Thanks for inviting us, Joe. It's a great opportunity to talk about our Pratley products in the market where repairs are concerned for classic cars, as well as house use. Our product is used just about everywhere and anywhere. We've got 3 different departments, in actual fact 4. We've got our adhesive department. We've got an electrical department that supplies all the big sasels and oil rigs and so on, with glands and boxes and so on, electrical boxes. We've also got a minerals department where we manufacture Pratley pearl, which you use for flame proofing, for making pizza ovens, and for making walls in between transformers, so if they catch on fire, it doesn't spread across to the other transformer. We do grow light for plants. We do cattle supplements for cattle and sheep and chickens and so on. And you won't believe it, we also own and run a hair products company called Select Hair, where we sell shampoos, colorants, tinters, and so on. So when I go to a bra over a weekend, I've got plenty to talk about.
I can believe that. I can believe that. But we mentioned this just before we started the conversation. With the industry worldwide has become like a throwaway industry. We just don't fix things. Okay, look, the car market and the classic car market, different story. But in general, I always thought that there's, we use the term in car building is it's working and it's fixed. That's 2 completely different things. Okay, working means it's just been made so it can function for a little bit longer. Fixed means it's not. And I was always worried that products like yourself always had it's a working mentality to it, but it's not. It's actually it could be a complete fix to the products.
Yes, that's correct. So we've got a number of products that you can use in the classic car rebuild and repair market. I'm actually a petrol head as well. I do classic bikes and classic cars.
Oh, nice.
So I've had the opportunity also to use Pratley products and test them. And some of our products we've got customers phoning in and they're used where they're not supposed to be used, but they last for years and years. The main factor here is preparation of the surfaces. So if you prepare your surface correctly by roughening it and cleaning it with Pratley safety cleaner or acetone or thinner, something with an alcohol base, don't go use petrol or diesel or something because you're going to leave an oil film behind. So preparation is like 99% of the whole setup. You prepare it right, your adhesive bond is going to be extremely strong and it's going to last for years and years. We supply all the 4x4 enthusiasts with a little toolbox with putty and rubber tape in and so on, that when they're out in the bush and they damage their metal radiator or their car, the Land Rover 4x4 or gearbox, you can actually repair it, wait 4 hours, start it up, drive to the nearest town and have it welded if you wish. But if you prepared it right and you're confident, we've had some feedback back from 4x4 enthusiasts saying they sold the Land Rover 20 years down the line and they didn't repair that they did in the bush years ago. So yes, it does last years.
I've actually seen Land Rovers where parts of the gearbox and stuff is actually just made up of Pratley. There's nothing else left. It's been the only fix. But I think that's a great idea. That's actually something, especially for the guys in the classics that still do road trips, to have a little Pratley toolbox with you. Because I mean, I've had it on road trips and stuff, like you said, with radiators and stuff. It's a fix. It's a fix that you can't do, because we always had a saying from in the classic car market. There's things that can be fixed on the side of the road, and there's things that can't. If it can't, that's a tow truck. And people don't understand that one section just so you can get it to another town. But if you can fix it on the side of the road and it's fixed, and it's not just working, it's fixed. I mean, you can enjoy normally that then you can enjoy your trip. You can finish it off,
Correct. Yes. So we've got products like our Pratley Quick Set Putty. It's a 2-part adhesive, which is extremely strong. Clean the surfaces, try and get as much oil off as you can. You can do the repair on the side of the road, wait 4 hours for it to get about 60-70% strength. Start it up and drive to the nearest town. If, as I say, if you wish, you can have it re-welded there or fixed in the town. Or if you want to rather go home, you could probably go home if you prepared that surface correctly. And if you haven't got the finances to repair it, you can probably wait if you prepared those surfaces correctly, and so you can extend it for much longer than you expected.
So what you're saying is, if keep always keep a backup of a bottle of nail polish removal or something like that in the car, because I mean that can always help clean up a surface very quickly. If I'm not.
Yes, the nail polish is not really quite strong enough on the acetone side of things.
Oh, okay.
More industrial acetone, but you can always carry a tin of Pratley Safety Clean. It's a 200-gram tin. It's on our website, which will just spray it strictly a cleaner, so it'll clean off all oil and residue. And then if you've got some sandpaper, give it a little bit of a roughening, and then give it another clean, and then put your adhesive on the hole, the crack, whatever it is. Yeah.
Now, where's Pratley going? What else is on the line? I mean, I didn't know you guys were in so many different fields. I mean, at one stage, I know you guys were promoting that you were supplying parts through to NASA and stuff as well. Am I right?
Yes. So we started in 1948. George Pratley started it up. So we're 74 years old now.
Wow.
And we're still growing every day. We're bringing out new products. That's our backbone is R&D. So we do a lot of R&D, checking products that are out on the market, as well as inventing new products. That's how we're growing this market today. So yeah, we're growing from strength to strength, and obviously in these times it's a lot more trying, and we've just got to be on top of things and make sure that the products that we do bring out, they're obviously under test for like 4 to 5 years before we actually put it onto the market. So when they do come out and put onto the market, they high strength, long lasting adhesives.
But like we were saying earlier, with the fact that we've become a throwaway society, I think that might change now with the fact that, I mean, with the fuel prices and everything going on at the moment, people are turning over pennies. You know, the fact of can I repair, or the question of can I repair it, is becoming bigger these days than just replace. You know, it's because it's not easy to always replace. You know, and it's also not easy that you don't always want to replace.
Yes, Joe. Especially the young society of today, they're not really technically brought up. I don't think most of them could even change a spare wheel on a motor vehicle. So we're doing a lot of training at schools, at varsities, at technical colleges to try and get that young crowd into and the brand awareness into the younger generation, because most people will tell you today, yes, my dad had a pack of standard putty in his garage and had a pack of steel quick set. And you're thinking to yourself, well, why haven't you got it back in your garage? Exactly. So yes, there is a little bit of a loss in the market there, which we're trying to fill as well. Yes.
I think the problem is that the thought process of fixing it isn't in the mindset at the moment. Yet, if you sit on social media and you see, I can look at them for hours, where you watch people restore things and fix things, videos and stuff online. It's completely fascinating. And I mean, and especially when you see something, like I said, and they're using a Pratley steel. I mean, I was reading the press release, the one that we've put through RestoModSA, and it stated, in the press it stated that the product can be machined. And I'm like, what? You mean that it bonds and it's so strong you can actually put it on a milling machine? Yes. Am I correct in saying that?
So that's our Pratley steel quick set. That's the 2 adhesives in the tubes that you'll use for more finer work, like cracks and stuff. What one must always do if you've got a crack on a sump, wherever it is to actually drill a hole before the crack and after the crack, which then stops the crack running further.
Spreading, yes.
If you haven't got a heart to go drill a hole in your sump or in your gearbox, then make sure that you do the repair 5-10 millimeters past each side of the crack, because it might crack further. So yes, the steel quick set, it comes in the 2 tubes. It is machinable. So once it's set, you can stick it in a lathe, you can stick it in a milling machine, you can drill a hole through it, you can tap it, and that goes for our steel putty as well. The putty is the 2 sticks that you would use if you've got a piece of casting that's missing. Now you want to build up a piece of casting, so you mix up the putty, same color as alloy metals and stuff, so it's gray, it almost matches the color of normal ferrous metals, and you can actually replace that piece that's missing, and at the same time you can mill it, drill it, tap it once it's cured. So those
Like keep going.
Those 2 products have got machining properties, yes.
That is fascinating. So I think we should relook at the slogan on Pratley, because you guys have basically been keeping guys going to work, cars running and people going to work since 1947, you said?
48.
Now 48?
Yes.
That's, I honestly think people don't understand how important part of life your product is actually, how important it's actually been. Those points of in your life when, because it's a product that's there when you need it. You know, it's not a product you think, that's the problem. I think it's not a product you think about every day, but it's a product that you think about when you need it, you know?
Yeah, so Joe, you mentioned earlier on with videos and stuff, we have got a lot of videos on YouTube. And between myself and my 2 sons, we do lots of repairs on our classic cars and so on. So yes, we can come up with something later on if you want. There are a number of products that we have used on various components in the classic cars, yes.
Definitely. Well, with that said, so when you're saying classic cars, what are you sitting with? I know every petrol head, that's the first thing you're going to ask on this thing is, okay, so you say you're doing bikes and cars, so what have you got?
This is more about Pratley than me, but
but it's always a personal angle to it.
I got a 1949 Ford shoebox, 2-door. When I first purchased it, I thought it was a Mercury, but it wasn't. It's a shoebox. It's actually very rare.
Yes, I know. I had one, Ford.
Yes, yes. So we took out the old engine and we put in a new Ford Explorer 2010 4.7 V8 engine in the thing. And then I've got a little Mark 1 Ford Escort that we put a 3-liter Ford S6 motor in as well.
Oh, very nice. Mark 1, hey. Oh, I love those. Love those. I had a bullet nose. I've actually had 2 bullet nose Fords. I'd love to see photos of it. I really do.
I did send them to our graphics department, and I think they're going to send them to you.
Excellent.
I've just finished a little 74 VW Beetle. And that's probably going to be the last one I'm doing because things are so expensive. It's not like it used to be that you could buy something at a good price and then spend something on it and sell it and make money on it. Today, people want retail price for the thing and you need to spend a hell of a lot of money on it still. So
I'll put you in touch. We're busy launching it in the next few weeks. There's a new website coming out called the VW Shop.
Yes.
It works with the guys from the V8 Shop, who's based in Alberton. They've started a whole new VW on classic parts sections coming out of the US and out of the UK. Pricing are very good, but very good parts sections. I'll send you details.
Interesting to know, yes.
Yeah.
So at this moment, it's just cleaning and maintaining and repairing. I'm not doing any more builds, and that goes for the classic bikes as well.
It is. Look, that's the hard part about our industry. But once again, this is where it's great the fact that you're working with Pratley, because being a car restorer and working with the product, at least you know which way it needs to go, what problems these guys are facing, what parts we can fix. We forget the wear and tear that these cars go through over years, the sun damage and everything that goes into it, how everything gets pewtered and that type of stuff. And the fact that you guys,
maintenance is the big thing all the time. I mean, that's how we do it. It's the passion and love of our vehicles. Yes. I can mention 1 or 2 more products. Just
no problem. Go for it.
For those that are listening, is we do Pratley WonderFix Auto. It's a flexible, toughened adhesive that you can repair cracked dashboards with, scuffed hoses in engine compartments, perish rubbers around the windscreens, rubbers around your doors. It's black in color, so it matches the black rubber. We also do Pratley 123. This is a product we called 123 because you put the adhesive 1 on the one side, the activator 2 on the other side, and 3 you put them together. Now this is used for bonding rearview mirrors to windscreens. You cannot go use any normal adhesive because you'll crack the windscreen. This is specially manufactured for sticking rearview mirrors onto windscreens. We also do another product called Pratley Easy Bond. It's a 3rd generation acrylic, which you can bond aluminium sheets together instead of pop riveting them. If you know, the Aston Martin's chassis was all bonded of late. They don't weld them. That's all bonded. So the way the adhesive market is growing and going, it's endless. It's just an example. If you look back in the old days when they were still building and welding and riveting old ships and trains, they wanted them to go faster, so they built them bigger, and you reach the stage where you've got a weight and speed factor. You can't go any bigger because of the weight and stuff. Today you can bond polycarbonate to aluminium, to perspex, to wood, and so you can make these high-speed trains that travel 600 km an hour. You can make these ferries where you take out all the glass and you put polycarbonate windows in and you bond different substrates together. So now you're not limited to only welding or only riveting. So adhesives have got huge potential, and it's going to grow a hell of a lot more. We've also got RTV silicone. Just going back to the products, I went off.
Yeah, no, please keep going. You've got all the time.
Pratley RTV grey silicone. It's a sensor-safe silicone that you can use for sumps and tappet covers and stuff. It's grey in color, so you won't see where you've been working on the motor. Back in the old days, people had either the red silicone or the blue silicone or the black silicone, and you could see where you'd worked on the motor. With our grey RTV silicone, you can't see. It's the same color as the engine.
Oh, wow.
And this is sensor safe, so you can use this on electronics and stuff. It's not corrosive. It's a neutral cure, which is very, very important. Obviously, being silicones, you can work in temperatures between -50 and 300 degrees Celsius. So that fits into the motor department 100%. Also do crack locks. It's a thread locker, locking up nuts and bolts instead of using lock nuts and American lock nuts and washers and stuff like that. It's an anaerobic, which means that it sets without air. So as soon as you've got no air between the nut and the bolt, it actually seizes up and locks it, and it won't come loose. The beauty of our range is you can break the seal to do repairs and stuff, like, for argument's sake, if you're working on your gearbox and you need to get back in there, it's not a permanent grade where you're now going to go shear the head of the bolt off.
True.
We've got 9 different grades in that range, obviously for the different sizes of nuts and bolts and stuff. And we also do a Pratlock gasket grade, because some people don't like using silicone on the engines. They want a silicone-free gasket grade, and we do cover that market as well. Also falls under the anaerobic family, which means it sets without air as well. So we do thread lockers as well. That's why I say it's actually quite open to a number of things that one can use. A lot of people just think of Pratley standard putty. Just touching on Pratley standard putty, you mentioned earlier on that it went to the moon. Yes, in the late 1960s, NASA ordered just under a ton of Pratley putty, which they did a lot of tests with before they sent up a couple of grams to the moon. And we pride ourselves on that we're the only South African product as well to have gone to the moon.
Pratley is a South African, it's a truly South African product, am I right?
South African and owned by Pratleys. We're in our 3rd generation now. George started it, Kim took it over, and now the 2 sons have taken over because Kim Pratley passed last year from COVID. So his 2 sons, Andrew and Charles, have taken over now, and they steering the ship very, very well.
This is a brand that we should all promote with pride. I mean, it's
Yes.
absolutely phenomenal what you guys have done.
At least people know there's a lot more that one can bond, and open up the market to people rather repairing than throwing away or wasting money.
Exactly. Anyone that's watched the movie Wall-E should be repairing stuff. Okay.
You also, Joe, you mentioned earlier on about all the videos and stuff. I'm a petrol head, obviously, so I watch all the Rust Valleys, bitching rides, gas monkeys, yeah. Yes, it's just, it's in your blood, it's in your blood. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. And the once again, but even with that, with these shows, you see, okay, besides for sheet metal work, I mean, because that's become an art again. Okay, that's is art form. I mean, we had Harry on the podcast last week, who's a metal fabricator, but you're not seeing. I mean, yes, in the US they're manufacturing parts for everything and this type of stuff, and it's great, but you're not seeing the old repairs, you know. And I think that's still a beauty of South African car restorers, is the fact that we have to figure out still, because you can't just order a new dashboard and you can't just order a new one, or they don't look the same as they used to, or they're just too expensive. We lost him. Think of, you were busy. What were we busy covering?
I think we were mentioning the Easy Bond, which we mentioned the Aston Martin's chassis being bonded.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's one of the adhesive applications moving forward, not to mention the high-speed trains and
yes, we covered that section.
Ships that are being bonded together nowadays, yeah. And of course, aircrafts. I mean, 60% of aircrafts today are actually bonded together. Did you know that?
That is quite a scary thought. But if you're telling with the technology of bonding at the moment, that actually makes sense. Also, it must do a massive reduction in weight, though.
Yes, that's the thing. You see, with riveting those panels, you'll find in between each rivet with age, that's why those aircrafts can only fly like 10 years and they've got to ground them, because the panels and everything are moving. So those rivets are actually making a bigger hole there as the panels move when he lands and he takes off and stuff. So there's stresses and strains on those sheets and stuff between each rivet. If you can imagine, the stress points around that rivet are tremendous. Now, if you bond that whole panel, let's just say it's 70 mil wide and it's a whole meter down, obviously your stress is shared over those panels. So bonding is 100 times better. Maybe I'm getting a little bit too technical, but yeah.
No. That's actually fascinating, and it's something that you never think about more than anything else.
Yeah.
So
a lot of your aircrafts today are bonded. A lot, like 60% of aircrafts are bonded together.
That's phenomenal. If you think about it, I mean, the advancement in technology is just completely insane. The fact that your product can be better than steel, or no, I don't want to say better than steel or better than the weld, but it can be worked at exactly the same function.
Yeah, so it'll share the impact and shock loads better than welding it or riveting it. So because you get adhesives that can take shock and loads, which is sort of like, if you can imagine, slightly flexible, forgiving than a welded joint.
Well, yeah. The other side is, and not to go down on anyone that welds, but you never know who welded it. I've seen some shocking welds in my life, and
you catch the pigeon.
Yeah, exactly. Where they spend more time grinding the budgie shit off of it than they were actually taking welding it. But it just makes sure, like I said,
we have a lot of customers phoning in as well for that very reason, to repair and make the welds look quite professional by using putty or Pratley Flexi Seal or even steel quickset adhesive, where they can smear it over the holes and then, of course, respray it, and it doesn't look like the pigeon's been there.
But also, I think it's probably a very good backup solution. I mean, even if you've welded it, to run the Pratley and stuff through it and put a proper bond on it, just once again make sure that it's double strong more than anything else, especially when it comes to things like, you know, chassis and that type of stuff. I think it's a great idea.
The secret is you need some bonded area. You can't exactly go expect to like bond two pinheads together type thing. You need area. You need some, as they
you need surface space.
In classic, you need some meat there. You need some area.
Yeah.
To build it up and make it stronger. Yes. Pratley powder bond, which is a powder that you can use. It's a filling powder and also used as a single part that you can use to build up little clips and stuff that are broken in your car. Most of the stuff break for two reasons. One is it's poorly designed, and the other one is it's been abused. Those are the two main reasons why things break. So if it's poorly designed, Pratley powder bond, you can actually build up that area. As I mentioned earlier on, you need some more area there. So you can build up those clips, put more area there and make them stronger. So Pratley powder bond is another nice product to use in the repairing of not just classic cars, but all cars and motorcycles. And then we've also got another product on our minerals range called Gunge Sponge. It's a powder that you'll spread out on oil stains and stuff on your driveway, and it absorbs the oil, and you sweep it up afterwards and you dispose of that powder because it's sucked up all that oil as well. So there's another product that one can look at.
I've seen stuff like that, you know, in the US, if I'm not mistaken, in certain drag applications and stuff, it's a requirement to have it in the car for oil stains more than anything else. So as soon as you've got an oil stain or something, you have to put some. I didn't know you guys actually manufacture
spillage, fuel. We have some chain stores that use it in the supermarkets because it also retains odor and stuff, so you can pour it out onto blood and so on in the butcher's side of the store and so on.
Oh wow!
We've got people that use it on emergency services where cars have left spills on the road. They come and purchase this Gunge Sponge from us and spread it on the roads. And there's car accidents and there's been leaking fuel or oil or so on.
So I mean that's something that every shop should actually have. I mean, I've never met anyone who's done an engine swap or something. You're not leaking something somewhere, you know.
Yes, true. The beauty of this is it's more safe to use the Gunge Sponge and go and use sawdust or something, because sawdust is flammable.
Yes.
So now you've got sawdust in the workshop, and the next thing you burn your workshop down. So the way to go is to use.
Well, especially if you're cleaning up a flammable product with something flammable. You know, that's to me that's like two major problems. And then you've got an appy having a cigarette next to while he's doing it. You know, that's
true.
Well, you have a great weekend. Enjoy the bike show. Enjoy the car show. Thank you so much for being on my show. Have a great one.
And thank you for the invite. It was great. Thanks, Joe.
Okay, man. Have a good one.
Enjoy.
Thanks. Bye.